Hey, how's it going, guys? Bringing another video on TMC, the metals company. Kind of going to go over what happened the past weekish and a half. Some big news. A lot of things to talk about. I'll kind of briefly go over everything and I'll put in the description of the video a couple of different links. First, I have the chart here, and this is the all-time chart. I did take a screenshot of this, put it in Chat GPT. I asked it for the bullish indicators, not like oh hey, what's your price prediction? Because I'm not going to trust Chat GPT with something like that, but just indicators that it talks about. I'll show those towards the end. But going over the first thing, over at Water Tower Research, there was I guess it was like a Zoom or a Teams call with the CFO of TMC. That's Craig Shesky here. Um, and if you want to watch this, it's like 23 minutes long. You do have to register. I think all you do is like put like first, last name, and like email, and that you're a stockholder or whatever. It's a great watch. I watched it. Like I said, I think it was like 23 minutes long, 26 minutes. Okay. And it's just him interviewing the CFO. I'm going to cover a couple points here what the CFO talks about. Toward the end, keep in mind this was filmed April 11th. And today's the 17th as I record this. The CFO talked about being in DC this week, and he was. He was with the CEO. Let's see, he posted a picture here. Here's our CEO, our fearless leader, at the White House. He was there. I know he was there, yeah, last week. I'm guessing the CFO took this picture, but a couple other key points I talk about in this video. They did mention, I know a big kind of thing that pops up every time around earnings report is how much cash they're burning through. He did mention they're kind of down to basically, I'm not going to say nothing, but they're pretty down, pretty low on cash burn due to the process that they're not researching or having the ships out for long periods of times now. They're kind of just waiting for legislation to be in motion. So their cash burn's gonna be way down moving forward, between now and production time. Um, he does kind of ask him, he being the interviewer, some things about the company, what they do, some basic information, and then the CFO Craig goes over what's been happening in the news lately, what's been happening with the ISA, and he didn't really trash the ISA, which is, I mean, a good thing. The ISA, they stand for something that's you would think is right, but I didn't know this until I watched this video. But the ISA has been sitting on these regulations and rules for over 14 years now, which to me is mind-boggling. How you don't move forward at all in 14 years. So we did talk about how that was frustrating for their company and kind of why they're going through the Trump administration to pass legislation to pass any sort of laws or rules so they could be mining in their different zones. So that's kind of the basis, the breakdown of the talk. Again, it's a great watch. It's only 26 minutes. I had it on while I was doing some homework. It was good to listen to, and there's a lot of good indicators there. The CFO is very um, kind of to the point and is able to just kind of put everything at ease in terms of where the company stands and what they're looking at in the future. So again, great watch. I'll put the link, this one down here in the description, so you just register and watch it if you want to. We already went here, but a couple of pictures of our CEO over at the White House. He was there on the 16th, which I think was Tuesday or Wednesday. Yesterday, Wednesday, he was there. And this isn't too crazy itself. He has been to the White House a handful of times this year and even last year, between both administrations. So he has been in the ear of a couple different people in office. So a lot of people thought there would be an executive order signed this week to mine minerals or basically kind of push things along. Nothing was signed this week, even though we had the CFO and CEO in DC, which is huge news. And again, this is something that's not like, oh no, nothing happened this week. It's extremely bullish to see these things happen and take place at the same time as everything else with the ISA and just trying to pass legislation. So onto these patterns here. Like I said, I took a screenshot of this is all time. As you can see, there is a very obvious kind of cup and handle forming right here, which is a bullish indicator. And I'll just be talking about bullish indicators that ChatGPT shot out. I'm not going to go and be like, oh, well, maybe you'll hit $15 tomorrow, or something like that. We do have a long weekend coming for the stock market being closed, but I think some good points here. The strong volume we saw, I think we were over 10 million in volume every day this week. It's a shorter trading week, Monday through Thursday, but over 10 million each day. pretty good compared to our average volume. Um, Breaking the key resistant level was another huge one, and that was kind of that mid ones. I'll go back to the one here. Kind of the mid ones we saw for years. I think I'll have to pull up my first trade, but I think my first trade was toward the end of 2023. I thought I'd be rich here, but I've been waiting for a while. So as you can see, we were around low dollar here, but for the past year and change, year and a half, we've been kind of floating around this mid dollar mark if we go on average. Um, Another one being these are positive catalysts. So this is what we've been seeing a lot lately in the news in terms of the EO passing and just kind of them getting ready for production here, hopefully within a year, and them kind of submitting their, as my cat makes an appearance back there, kind of submitting their application and getting ready to mine. Again, just bullish indicators. That's what we're going to go off of here. Higher highs and higher lows. The recently in the past, what this stock would do, and I can kind of indicate, this when I kind of bought right in, and these little spikes, is it will spike up pretty fast, like it just did this last week, and then drop pretty dramatically too. This time is different to where it was a better accumulation, which is a great indicator. And then we're here right now. We are just boom shooting up. And as you can see, when we pull out, and we go back over here to late 21, we're kind of trying to push through this wall right here to shoot up. A lot of people on StockTwits are talking about a squeeze. I don't want to suggest squeeze. Obviously, any sort of good news or a catalyst can suggest that. But if we were thinking long term here, and they're going to be actually doing some good production and bringing in a lot of revenue, um, squeeze or not, this is this is going to be some good money to be made here. But like I was saying, higher highs and higher lows. We're seeing that it was a better accumulation up to the $3 mark where we're at now. Um, Now, with that, I think next week's going to be another important week for us. We could see an EO next week. We could see multiple things next week that would push us higher, but kind of staying in the same spot and not dropping back down to our like $1.50, $1.60 average here was a great week for us. And then lots of volume. And then finally, favorable market conditions. And this kind of goes hand in hand. We've seen some overall down days in the market, and that definitely impacts all the stocks. So when we see things like that, and we're kind of down a couple percent. I think it happened like on Wednesday or Tuesday, we're down a couple percent, but the market as a whole was down. So we're going to see the market kind of prop itself up, which is helpful. But overall, too, we're also seeing stocks. I think another one was MP. This was another one that's been shooting off. I think it's this one. Let's see. Go down to recently. Yeah, this one's been going off too. Kind of that playing around with that $30 mark. All-time high is pretty crazy, up almost $60. And there's been a couple others too, kind of in the same sector that have just been popping off and going crazy. But overall, and we had an excellent week. I'm definitely in it for the long run. I can't wait to see what next week brings, and I think it's that June or July date when they'll submit their application finally. We'll see what the administration does and just go from there. But thanks for watching, guys.